In terms of what the GMC is doing to help support all this process, we're trying to be, perhaps not always succeeding, but we're trying to be as interactive and helpful about this as we possibly can be. The GMC has established a dedicated inquiries line for revalidation, so both for responsible officers and for individual doctors. If they have queries, they can phone those people. If they don't have the answer, they'll go away and find it and come back. We've established a reference group of responsible officers to help us work through all these systems and processes and make sure they work. We've, I'm sure you're aware, begun direct mailing of individual doctors. That's not a mass mailing of all doctors with the same message. We're segmenting those messages. Some of them, for example, where we didn't have the connection, we're writing to those doctors where those connections hadn't been established. We're coming back to the ones where we do know the connection later in the year. And this whole thing is supported by guidance and protocols. I would encourage you to read the guidance that we put out as distinct from relying on other people to tell you what they say, because I think our experience is that actually when people read them, they find them much more straightforward and understandable than the reported version was. I mean, I'm just making a general comment that go to the source material, I think, is a good kind of premise. And of course, the other thing that GMC is doing for the first time is creating a regional presence, a local presence. And we have these things called employer liaison advisors, who are very senior people who, if you like, operate as the local face of the GMC. They can provide advice to responsible officers particularly. I mean, they're intended to link in with responsible officers first and foremost about fitness to practice issues, but also about revalidation issues, so that there is, again, a local face that you can talk to. They are in very close liaison with the strategic health authorities, and therefore they can you know, pick up any issues with them as well. So I think, you know, our intention is to be as helpful, interactive, and to provide solutions, or at least to suggest solutions where we possibly can.
Good question. The group of responsible officers that you have working through problems that arise, are they a fair representation of, I mean, they're not sort of all NHS? No. They represent
both geographically and in terms of sector, mixture of independent, NHS, deans, people who are, you know, in a range of different contexts. And also, they also represent the four countries of the UK. Unbelievably, this is the last slide. Which really, you know, again, is highlighting the point that there are people out there to support this process. You know, if there are remaining issues with the SHAs, I would encourage you to link into them. You know, there are, in London, there are very helpful people, you know, who are there to be talked to about this. They want to help the process. I mean, I can understand how it feels like a big machine coming your way, but there are people at the other end of this who are willing and able to engage and talk to you as individuals. We do have this inquiries team, which we encourage you to contact. The employer liaison advisors are out there. They're meeting with SHAs. They're meeting with responsible officers, again, to support the whole process. And the NHS Revalidation Support Team, despite its name, is not solely focused on the NHS. They will engage with other sectors to try to help advise on how they may approach particular issues. So, again, you know, for those based in England, I think that's most of you. Again, I think the Revalidation Support Team remains a resource there for you to contact.